Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Tuesday, March the 6th, 2018. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. We do create multiple hypotheses. Nobody can tell you what the market's going to do. Therefore, we create two main trading plans, or two hypos, that is geared around the auction, whether or not the buyers or sellers take control. And then we have two alternative hypos that are our expansion or trend type scenarios. Yesterday, of course, we saw our hypo 4, which I thought was a low probability. We said, though, if we got above the 27.9850, that's where I'd be looking for hypo 4 to kick in. Before we get going, this is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. We do everything here live in the go-to. There's no website or blog. And then we do live trading during the course of the trading day. And you can send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So let's talk about yesterday, because yesterday my analysis was off. Based on the three black crows that we had on the daily and the H pattern, I was looking for a balancing day with the downside bias as my main hypo. So I was looking for an open auction in range, a move up into this 2684 area, and looking for responsive sellers to step in and rotate us down through below the 2700, go down into that 63 area, chop, push down to the 43, and then base and start working its way up. Hypo 2 is the opposite of that, where I was looking for the move down first and then coming up and balancing. But basically, my main two hypos was a balanced day, chopping in the middle distribution, and then my hypo 3 was a completely breakdown day, going down into that 43 and possibly even 28 in the lower 2600s. Hypo 4 was our continuation day up, and that was buyers taking control early, go up and break above the 2698.50. That was that single TPO count that we still had from the prior Thursday, and then looking for continuation up into the microcomposite VPOC, which the balance was up there at the 2713, maybe even a probe up into towards that daily upside ATR target at 2733. And that's basically what happened. I didn't trade it well. I had a brain fart, and I got into a position and got long. But when I went to go put my order in for my first scale, I ended up taking the whole thing down, and then it just didn't really give us an opportunity to get back in that had something to lean against. So, and then I had some issues. There were some problems with the gain feed yesterday. I got into a position at 2714.75 for the continuation up into the 28, and gain system went down. I called the emergency desk system, and this is whacked. That they couldn't even liquidate me on their end, which ended up resulting in a slight loss. But it's the principle of the thing that their system goes down. They give you an emergency number. You call the emergency number, and they tell you, "Oh, sorry, there's nothing we can do. Our system is down." Anyway, I'm not going to rant about that. Taking a look at the news. Well, I guess I just ranted about that. Taking a look at the news. Not a lot of news today. The headline news right now with this whole trade war. Risk is, overnight sessions are all very strong. Risk is on right now. They're shaking this whole trade war deal off right now. But in terms of scheduled news, we've got Redbook coming up in 4 minutes. We've got factory orders at 10. Sometime today we'll get the IBD, tip economic optimism, but those aren't really big movers. We do have IV PMI coming out of Canada that might move the market, but not likely. And we got the 4-week bill auction at 11:30 and API weekly crude oil stock at 1:30. So not a lot. I'm sorry, 2:30. Not a lot of news today that we have to deal with in terms of scheduled economic news. Each day, I like to start my day with a simple candlestick chart. I do this to keep myself, and I should have paid more attention to this yesterday, is I start with a monthly, work my way down. I use a 20 SMA and a 9 EMA. I don't trade off moving averages. I use them to give me an idea where we are in terms of the trend on each of the time frames. Do we have good slope and separation? Is price paralleling the 9 nicely? And you can see on the monthly, the trend was challenged in February, but it's still intact and we're moving back up. Going to the weekly, we had some weakness. It looked like we were going to get a trend change possible, and then they took it back, and we've been in this this flag formation, and we're holding above the 9 and the 20 right now. Now barely, we're just above that 9 EMA right now. Going to the daily, you can see that it looked like we were getting a trend change. We had that H pattern, which had me thinking that we were going to see. And we had the 3 black crows. There's the 3 black crows right there. But this market just doesn't want to die. This is not your father's market, as Danny always says from Mr. Top Step. We're holding above the 9 and 20. We don't have any slope. We do have a little bit of separation. Until we break below that 2,700 again, it looks like the trend is going to remain from the larger time frames. Going to the intraday 4-hour, you can see we are starting to get a trend to the upside. Again, we've got good slope, good separation. Prices holding above the 9 and the 20. So we do have a naked cross down here at the 94 area. There's a single down there as well at 26.96, a TPO single from yesterday. There's also one down at 26.84. So I'll be watching that 26.98.50 again as a key support line. Going to the 30-minute. You can see that we're coming back. We're below the 9 right now. We're going to be watching this 27.24.50. If we break that, then I'm thinking that we can get a bigger pullback into yesterday's range. So taking a look at the bigger picture, the structure. And it's very convoluted right now because of the fact that these ranges are so big. Right now, our 20-period daily average true range on the full session is running at 68.69. That's usually what you'd see in a weekly range, and yet we're seeing it on a daily right now. The longer time frame microcomposite. The VPOC on that is 27.19.50. If we get below the 24 area, that is the target coming back into this balance that goes from February the 5th through to yesterday. The 3-day microcomposite, the buyer stepped in at 26.77 and a quarter. We're accepting price and moving above the balance. And we're above that right now. We're in this middle area right here around this microcomposite at 27.75. The resistance is going to come in just above us at the 37 area. If we can get above that, then the target is up here to this prior microcomposite VPOC at the 47. and possibly if we get a run going today where they tried to hold value up here in the 2772 area. But we're taking back this downward move here, and the significant breakout, the 50% of the significant breakdown candle where we lost holding this value. What was it? 32, I believe it is. Just let me grab that for a second. The high was 62, the low was 12. So the 50%, 62 and 12 is 37. Sorry, 37 is the 50%. Okay, so taking a look at the overnight inventory is pretty much 100% net long. They just sort of chopped it around the VPOC from yesterday's RTH session, but we pretty much held for the most part above the VWAP. Then they moved it up into the 34.50. Buyers or sellers stepped in and rotated us down, came up. We got the VPOC shift. The Globex VPOC is up here at 31, and we're coming down to test that 24 level and the midpoint from the overnight, which is at 25. So taking our levels from overnight, our overnight low is down at 16. Our overnight high is 34.50. We're trading just on the top of yesterday's RTH range. I'm looking for a balancing day with an upside bias today as my main hypotheses. So my hypo 1 is an open auction just out of range or just inside a range. A move down into the VPOC at 21, push down into the 17, and somewhere between the 17 and the 13, the microcomposite longer time frame VPOC, finding buyers and rotating us up and coming up and pushing up towards that 2737 area, which is a TPO single as well from February 28th, but also that 50% of the significant breakout candle, and then basically balancing here, maybe a late day probe up into 47, but basically closing somewhere up here in the 30s, and basically just a balancing day back inside of that significant breakdown candle from the three black crows. So that's hypo 1. Hypo 2 is opposite of that, balance with the downside bias, open auction, just in range or just out of range, a push up into the overnight high and somewhere between 34 and 39, finding responsive sellers, rotating us down into the range from the prior day, chopping here, pushing down to the 13 and then basing and basically going sideways and closing somewhere down here between 13 and 21. That is hypo 2. Hypo 3, because we had a continuation day yesterday, is a possible gap and go or continuation day. Looking for an open auction just in range or open auction out of range, but leaving the failure to close the gap and take out the overnight low. Buyers take control early, push us up into that 39 area, chop here, and then get continuation and push up into the 2750s with possibly a late day probe up into the 2770 as a continuation day. Our 20 period daily ATR is all the way up. Our target off of the low of the night is all the way up at the 2784.75 to the top side, and on the downside all the way down to 2665. So we have some capabilities with these large volatile trading days that we can, make some big moves still. Excuse me. Don't forget that this week is rollover. I will be rolling over on Thursday, before Thursday morning. So sometime tomorrow night, I'll probably do my rollover and roll over to the June contract. There'll be enough volume to trade it through to the weekend on the March contract, but with my my system. I just don't want to have any problems with data mixing between the 2 months. So I will go ahead and make the rollover. Hypo 4 is a open auction, just in range or just out of range, a push down into that 13, chop in the 13 area, then fail, push down to test the 2700, fail the 2700, and come down here, take out these two TPO and fill in this area down here, chopping between the 27 and the 84 with a late day probe to test the year open at the 25.75, 26.75, and I move down to this naked VPOC down here, and then start to base down here and work our way up and close somewhere in around the 2700. So those are my four main hypotheses. If you want to take a quick look at gold, gold found the bid and did not break down and has moved up really nicely overnight. So just bringing in today's volume, you can see that the balance is around the 1323. We held that 14 level. They accepted the value in around that 13 or 19 to 22 level, and then pushed up, and we broke through that key important line we were talking about at the 2820, and we're pushing back up into testing the 35. Anything above 35, I'm looking for that move back up into the 39 again. 2820 is going to now be switched from our resistance to our support. Anything any move below that, I'm expecting a rotation down into the 23 area again, and more chop in this distribution zone around the 1320.90. But they did find the bid. The dollar's weakened, and gold is moving up. And if we can get above this 35, we can get another nice run up, and the main target above is going to be up here in the 46 area. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side.